Hello, I'm recording this video for another player who is building something rather similar. I saw them in a post, also using Lens and Heartbound Loop. Um, I wonder where I should start. I'm using Cast Damage Taken, less duration, and 2 Summon Skeletons. Their duration is 0.97 seconds. When they trigger, I take damage, Cast Damage Taken, and continues on. I'm also using Cast Damage Taken in 5 Summon Raging Spirits at level 10 at 20% on Tabula at the moment. I might be changing that to Self-Cast 6 Link to just execute a lot better. Now, it's very close to self-perpetuating at the moment. I need to reduce a little bit of my armor, which is actually due to evasion. I'm actually using Iron Reflexes at the moment. I'll probably spec back into just armor and probably life hybrid because I don't have a lot of life yet, especially for 74. I'm actually using Mind Over Matter as well. As long as you take the appropriate amount of damage, it doesn't matter where it's directed to. So I'm using bubbling hybrid flasks to make up for that in a pinch if I'm in trouble. I'm also casting damage taken, arc, flammability, and flesh offering. I'm only using this helmet because of the convenient sockets at the moment, and the extra Mind Over Matter, which my mana regen does not compensate for that, honestly. Mind Over Matter. I am also using Necro Aegis, which is part of the purpose of Lens in the first place, is when nearby enemy allies die, you recover 2% of their max health. I'm speaking as though Necro Aegis. And they get bonus health, so the 2% is increased. I would strongly suggest using some minion damage and minion life nodes for that, so they heal you for more. I'm using Shaper Seed and this for extra minion damage, specifically Shaper Seed and Immortal Flesh for the massive health regen and mana regen, although they're probably not ideal. I'm only self-casting with Faster Casting, Culling Strike, and Spell Echo level 1 because I'm running out of sockets. I'm using Clarity on Blood Magic because it takes a lot less out. I don't have nearly as much mana as I do life. I'm literally only using this out of convenience of the high evasion, life, and movement speed. Grace Vitality, that's pretty self-explanatory, and I specifically wanted to show this in action. I am considering trying to corrupt a Heartbound into gaining mana on hit if I continue to use Mind Over Matter, but I feel that complete life base can work. I just haven't gone in that direction. I may consider crafting a Coral, Mind Over Matter rank, mana regen, life, mana cost. Unfortunately, I do not have free cost of spells for Summon Raging Spirit yet, but I intend to in the future. I was considering using Life Leech on Arc to help sustain more, and there's an alternative build I'm considering of doing is 4 arcs, casting damage taken, and Life Leech, which should be very difficult to die from. But this is all about presentation, and I wanted to show off a little bit of it. My damage is rather low at the moment, but having Arc, Elemental Equilibrium, the Curse, Flammability, and a lot of minion nodes helps deal the damage. Clear speed is not very fast at the moment, but it is a work in progress. I'm literally using Rasa Tabula, so that is the only thing that costs anything in this build, which is more or less 1 Divine or more, between 1 Divine and 1 X. I can take damage. Specifically, my defense is at about 53% physical reduction. It's not quite accurate for using Heartbound. I would probably suggest 50%. I don't know the exact number behind it. I was using Fragile Bloom to gain higher regen and to take more damage, so I could trigger cast damage taken by a single skeleton gem. However, I felt this is more effective, and I take less damage from enemies because I need to be able to regen my damage and theirs. This isn't quite the same as the build of the week, but I did start an SRS build like this before the skeletons were used, and I feel dumb for not thinking of skeletons because of the duration. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, unfortunately. But I'm also using increased duration for my SRS. So honestly, it would be more efficient on my skill tree if I did not. But I wanted to spawn as many SRS as I could, which is not going well, but the build itself is very fun. And it's a side project I'm doing. I'm not dedicating too much to this at the moment. I actually intend on making if I could get a 6-link North Staff, I have a 5-link one, so I might actually go and use Castle Damage Taken, Life Leech, and 7 arcs in this method, which would be very fun. That's what I'm working on right now. This is definitely taking too long to clear. I'm also not casting, but I don't have mana for casting. I wanted to make a self-sustaining SRS where I could just run around and SRS would just spawn. Which it works, but on a very low scale. And I eventually want to increase it similar to the build of the week and be able to just produce a swarm of SRS without doing anything. And last but not least, I wanted to show rather how self-sustaining it is. Although one SRS is probably not going to do it. It's not exactly 1-for-1. I'm taking less damage when they die. So I definitely need to reduce. I could probably reduce levels on Grace, or use Determination and swap out my evasion armor. Evasion gear, sorry. Because then I'm literally down to just Aziri Stub and Grace, giving me evasion. So I'm literally using this wand for the cast faster SRS. That is the only reason, with the least amount of sockets. So, and again, this helm is only because of the Mind Over Matter buff and the sockets. I needed 1 red and 3 blue, which is surprisingly difficult for me to get a hold of at the moment, for what I have laying around. That's still useful for this build. Anything else makes me too tanky, and I cannot sustain this, because it's all about the physical damage. But that is all. I hope you like it. I'll probably make an actual video once it is finished.